Hi everyone, welcome to today's One Card Wonder Wednesday for March 20th, 2019. Hope everyone's having a great day. I made a card today and I took inspiration from one of the 2019 Artisan Design Team members for Stampin' Up. Her name is Jackie Aitken. She had a post that she posted on Stampin' Up's Facebook page, and it's also on Stampin' Up's website. If you scroll down, they have like Instagram posts and posts from Facebook and things like that. So you can always look and see what the Artisan Design Team is making. But anyway, I took a cue from her because I just loved these cards that she had made. And she used the needle and thread stamp set and the needlepoint elements. And there are some other items that she used for hers, but today for my card, I'm only using the needle and thread and the needlepoint elements dies. I'm gonna try to get my video to pull up here just to make sure you all can see everything that I'm showing you. It gives me a good view of what I'm showing. So give me just 1 second to get that pulled up. All right, okay, look, now I've still got my volume on, so I got to turn that down because I haven't done this in a while. So is everyone having a good day? If you're watching, just go ahead and give me some hearts, give me some likes, you know, whatever, throughout the video, so I can see. Apparently that was an old video. It's still not pulling up. Why? Not sure why it's not showing me live. Maybe I went live on my, nope, there I am. Just wasn't pulling up for some reason. I apologize. Okay, so anyway, let me show you the card, and I think you're gonna love it. It's really cute. It is this adorable spool card. Isn't this cute? And I used the envelope punch board for this. So I'm gonna show you how I did it. Hi, Katie, Christy, and Fran, and Lois. I can say hi now because I can see who's on here. I'm not sure if anyone else is on here. Those are the only ones I see right now. But anyway, isn't this adorable? And you use the envelope punch board to make these nice little cuts in here, and then we'll slice it, and I'll show you how to do that using the paper trimmer. So anyway, I'm gonna set this aside just so you can see it right here in the corner, hopefully. I'll put it right there, so hopefully you can see it. And I'm gonna get started. And the first thing I did was I took a piece of, oh, now I'm knocking my stamps over here on the side, so I'm making some extra noise. Hope you like that. I took a piece of cardstock and I cut it 4 1/4 by 11. Oh good, I'm glad Katie's not driving right now. I'm hoping she's home. Unless you went on a trip. Did you go on a trip, Katie, that I don't know about? Oh no. Okay, so you cut it 4 1/2 by 11, and I folded it just so I could make sure I could see that score mark when I start using the envelope punch board with it, and you'll see why in just a second. Once you get your envelope punch board, and I'm using Blushing Bride paper, you're gonna see, you see how you have all your nice score marks here? This is the 1-inch mark that's literally right next to your punch, and you go to the 1 3/8 inch mark. So you just bring it right to that 1 3/8 and punch. And then I just flipped it right over and did the other side. Same thing, 1 3/8 and punch. So now I've got 2 of them. Now to get these ones that are closer here, I just use this score line as my mark, and I put the score line at 1 3/8. Hi, Aunt Sherry. And then I do the same thing and I flip it over. And because we have that score line, it gives us that, we can see where we're going. And I did the exact same thing with this side. I just started by taking the end to 1 3/8, punch, flip it, do the 1 3/8 punch, and then flip it this way and use that score line again as your mark. So now you want that score line on 1 3/8. And I know I keep saying 1 3/8 over and over, but I want to make sure you know where the measurement is to do this punching. So you start out with it like this, and as you can see, that's not what you want, because you don't want these little edges sticking out from that spool, because you want those to be cut off. So now you have all these cute little pieces. You can just get rid of those or use them for something else if you want. And then I went ahead and I just used the Stampin' Trimmer, and I used the cutting blade, and I laid my card on here. And you're not going to cut all the way across. You're going to cut in between from here to here. So you're just gonna cut that piece off. So just kind of lay it, and I'm gonna use my piercing tool just to show you, just so you have just a little tiny bit left in the track. And you can do both of these. You can, if you just keep it in the same spot. You just want to make sure your blade is in one of those little grooves, so it's like in this groove, but it's on this side. Just going to cut that, lift it up, bring it back over, and you can do these one at a time too. You don't have to do them at the same time like this. Get it in that little groove and then cut. And then you've cut those two little pieces off. And then you will do the same with this side. You're just going to lay it in there, do the same, just bring it over. Hi, Angie. Just bring it over so you got this little, just a little tiny space. And make sure you hold it down. I'm going to bring this cutting blade all the way back to this side because I like to do it this way. I like to do from this end first. Get that first one cut, lift it up, move your blade down till you're in that groove again, and cut it off. And then you've got all those little pieces cut off. And then you have this cute little spool card. Isn't that adorable? And it looks just like a little spool of thread. So I did the same thing with a piece of wood designer series paper, but I cut it just a little bit smaller than the front of the card. I cut this at 4 1/8 and 5 3/8. And now we're gonna have to do the punch in again real quick, but that's so I can keep it fresh in your brain. The only thing I did different with this, instead of at 1 3/8, I just put it between the 1 3/8 and 1 1/4, just because it's a little bit shorter than the other piece. And just flip it and keep putting it in between that 1 3/8 and 1 1/4, and then just flip it over this way, since we don't have to do another side of it. It's just this one side. So I don't know, if anyone likes what I'm doing, go ahead and give me some hearts, give me some likes, because this is one of the ways to keep my videos popping up on Facebook so people can see them and get to try all these fun ideas. Sorry, I was getting ready to glue that on there, and we need to trim it real quick. Hi Donna, how are you? So I'm gonna do the same, except I had it underneath my iPad there a little bit. Just make sure you come over, use your piercing tool to kind of make sure you get it right next to that trough in the scoring. I don't know what you call that. I don't know why. Oh, Aunt Sherry, you're so clever with you're so cute with SEW. Very nice. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then we'll trim that little piece off too. So super easy. It looks like it's going to be a really difficult card. Like when I first saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder how she did that. How did she get those cut off like that? But she just used that nice little scoring board. And it looks like could have taken a little bit extra there. So I'm going to use that as the back of my card to make sure this is on the front. So the next thing is just use a little bit of, you can use Tombow, you can use your snail adhesive or whatever adhesive you have that you like to use. I'm using the snail adhesive, and I'm just going to adhere this to the front of the card. And then I use some of the designer series paper from the Needlepoint Nook Suite as well. And it is this nice cute piece that has this blushing bride, and the needlepoint, it's called the Needlepoint Nook Designer Series paper, so I guess I was correct about that. I know, isn't it cute, Katie? I think that this is one of the cutest things. Hi Lisa, how are you? So what I wanted to do is, when it was made in the book, the card that Jackie made that is similar to this one, because she did 4 different spools, so this is just one of the designs that I'm borrowed from her. Instead of using the lace, she had cut out using some of the doily builder framelits, and since those are no longer available, I thought, you know what, since it's a spool, let's just use actual lace. So I got some of the 1/2-inch lace trim that Stampin' Up! Sells, and I just used some Terran tape to adhere it down. I just put a piece across the 2 longer sides of this designer series paper that I cut, which I cut it at, let me see what my measurement was. I know I wrote it down here. 3.5 inches wide by 2 1/4 inches deep. And if I am smart, I'll write these down and put them in the comments so you all will have those. But of course, when you go through and watch the video to make the cards, if you want to do them again, I'll obviously be repeating them during this time, and you can just pause it later and go back through. So instead of cutting my lace right away, I just went ahead and I used, like I said, the tear and tape, and then this top part of the lace, that little skinny part is what I stuck down to the tear and tape. And then I let the rest of it peek out from the back because I didn't want to waste any of this beautifulness that this lace has. And then I just trimmed it right while it was on there. So then you get that little piece and it's sticking out like that. And I did it from the top and the bottom. I thought about trying to layer a couple of layers, and that might be cute too. But I didn't do it with this card, but maybe I'll try some of the other, her other designs that are basically this same, you know, background, not necessarily these colors, but, you know, she made the spools for, there's 4 different ones that she made. And then maybe I'll do that, well, I'll do it, layer it a little bit so it looks like there's more on the spool. And then just adhere that piece down, and you've got that done. The next step is going to be just to stamp all of our flowers. And as you know, I don't know if you know, maybe you don't know, and I'll tell you right now, the needle and thread stamp set, these are dynamic stamps, so they have a realistic image when you stamp them. So I have found the best way for stamping them is to use a dauber or a sponge to sponge the ink onto the stamp and then stamp it onto my paper. So I'm going to show you how I did that, and I won't do every color only because I've got some already stamped and cut out. But I just daub it on with the dauber, and this is the Highland Heather ink. And as you stamp it, and I should have put my mat underneath it because now I have a bubble, but that'll be a good lesson everyone to see without that without this cushion underneath with these photopolymer stamps. A lot of times you will get a bubble and it won't stamp right. So I'm just going to daub that on again onto this one. And it might be a little hard for you to see how much ink I'm getting on there, but I actually have quite a bit of ink on there. And then once you get it on here, you can see how that turns out. These stamps are really photorealistic, so they're really gorgeous. And I'll do one more color for you just so you can see. I'll do the Coastal Cabana, and I also stamped some of the smaller flowers that are in the set. And these are really, really cute because you want some extra little flowers to put on your card just as little in the backdrops and whatever. I'll just show you how cute this Coastal Cabana looks when you stamp with it. I think this is one of my favorite colors. And like I said, I already have some of these stamped and cut out because I figured that would make this video not quite as long for you all, so you have more time to go and create your own. See how wonderful that turns out? It's just, they're very realistic, and I know it's a little harder to see on the camera than it is in person, but they turn out really gorgeous. And in April's Paper Pumpkin, it's supposed to be distinctive stamps. So if you haven't tried the distinctive stamp line from Stampin' Up, that will be the perfect time to try it because you'll get a stamp set and everything to make a set of cards. I'm not sure what those will be, but hopefully it'll be something fun. So here I have all of my cutout pieces, and I used the dies and I made some leaves, and I stamped some of the leaves that they actually come on this stamp that has this space in the middle, and that's so you can layer. If you want to layer one of these larger flowers right on top of it, it fits perfectly to have those leaves poking out from behind. But I'm going to cut them because I like to place them different ways than what Stampin' Up! Has them on there. So now that I have this on here, I will go ahead real quick, and there are these little cross stitches. And on this card, I embossed them on there, but I wanted to see if the craft white ink would work. So if you don't have embossing powder and whatever, you could buy the craft ink, which this is the pad. I don't fill my ink all the way to the edge of this pad because it's a different kind of ink and it dries out. It seems to dry out a little bit faster. This way, if I need more, I can always just put more in the middle. But I'm just going to put those little crosses using that Whisper white ink, and you can see how cute that is. You can see it's on there. And I just think it's adorable. And actually I'm going to put a couple extra on this card because I think it just helps give it a little more character. And I'll hold that a little closer because it's harder to see when it's far away from the camera, but there it is. And so the next thing we'll do is we're going to put together these flowers, and we're going to use dimensionals, and I'm actually going to use some of our adhesive sheets. I don't know if you've seen our adhesive sheets. They come in 6 by 12. These are really awesome because once you peel this up where it says peel here, what's on the bottom is this is all adhesive. So I like to use it like for these leaves where I was using the Tombow glue, which is still great. I mean, I'll still use it for some things. You can just stick this on there and it's on the paper and then push it down, and then I'll peel this back up just so I can pull this off. But now there's adhesive on that stem of that leaf so I can use it. So that's what I used on this card because I wanted to try something different and show you all something different. So once I have that, I'm just going to go ahead and get these started. I want to put this cute Coastal Cabana one on the top just because I think that's my favorite one of them. And I'll use the mini dimensional, so I'm just going to put it directly on that flower and stick this flower on top. We'll turn it a little different little way. And then these, because I stuck them directly on the back, I went ahead and used some of the adhesive from this adhesive sheet, and I probably just should have cut this to a smaller size, but I just wanted you to be able to see how big they are when you get them. And I'm going to go ahead and just put adhesive on the backs of these. Well, actually it's on the front of them, but get the adhesive on them so I already have it ready to go. And I'll do the same with my other leaf here. And then when I get to the little leaves, I'll do those individually. So has anyone thinking about maybe trying one of these cards? Because I really thought this was one of the most fun cards that I have made so far this year. I love this card. I definitely want to make some of the other styles that she has. She has one where she made it look like an embroidery hoop, which I thought was really cute. And I just fell in love. Like I said, I fell in love as soon as I saw them. So just go ahead and stick your leaves on wherever you want to put them. I mean, you can just put them in different ways. This one already has some adhesive on it, so I'll stick it on there. I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to this one, and then I'll add some adhesive to these smaller ones too, just because. And you can't see it from where you're at, but I can see where the adhesive still is on here, and especially toward the edge where I want to get these leaves, because that way they have a little bit of adhesive on them just to stick out from behind the flowers. And these leaves here that I'm using right now are the punch outs from what came out of this. So I just thought that was good to save those and use them on this project. Oh good, Aunt Sherry's gonna try to make it. I see Laura's watching. Hi Laura, how are you? This is our spool card that I'm trying to emulate one of the artisan design team ladies that made it. So I've got these put together, and then I want to go ahead and add this other leaf here, maybe toward the top. Since I did one at the bottom, we'll add this one at the top. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. And now since I've already dimensionaled in between these two flowers, when I put my dimensionals on this side, if I want to make sure it stays the same height when I put it on the card, if that makes sense, I'm going to have to double these dimensionals on this side because this is one layer above already. So I just peel the backing off, and then I just go ahead and stick another dimensional right on there. And then it solves that. It's not a problem by any means. You can stick them down like that and they'll be fine. You'll still have a little bit of difference in height on the front of your card, but it won't be the true difference in height. So now that I've got all the backings peeled off from those, I will go ahead and add these flowers on. And I did this first. I added these flowers on, and you want to make sure you don't go past this because you want this to fit in your regular envelope. So I just kind of put my hand there as a guide just so I don't poke it out too far. And once I have them on there, see, I had a pink one ready because I thought maybe I would put a pink one on here, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to stick with these smaller ones. Oh shoot, here I stuck that on before I even got my twine wrapped around, so might be taking these off. Let's see. Oh yeah, I didn't stick them down too hard. They're coming off pretty good. Just have to be careful. This is what the fun about card making and paper crafting. Sometimes you make mistakes, you just go back and fix them. All right, got that peeled off. Okay, sorry. Next step that I had it sitting right here in front of me and totally forgot was this Old Olive linen thread. Love this, it's so pretty. And I take a glue dot and I just stick it down. It doesn't matter where, as long as it's gonna be under this area where your flowers are going, that glue dot will be hidden and it'll probably help hold something down. So you just take that linen thread and just wrap it around and just randomly. Doesn't have to be perfect in any way, just so you get it around there. And then stick it back down to that glue dot. So you're just using that exact same glue dot again. And then just snip it off. And now we can stick our flowers down. Now that I'm gonna kind of gauge with my hand there just so I don't get it off the card too far. And then stick it back down. There we go. All right, can I get some applause for that? Because that was pretty good. I got all those dimensionals off without ripping any of them, and they're still sticky. So I think I did pretty good on that. So once you have that on there, you can go ahead and take some of these smaller flowers, which I put some glue dots on, and take the adhesive backing off from those. And then I use this paper piercing tool, and I just kind of work them underneath the flowers. And I think I will put this one up here since it'll be opposite of this one. Just stick them underneath. This purple one, I'll probably just put right underneath there. And then I have one in the Blushing Bride that I'm going to put at the top because I want to have some of that pink at the top. And then these leaves that I already put some adhesive on, I just stick them coming out from underneath those flowers and then just push the flower down so it gets a hold of that adhesive. Once you get it where you want it, just push the flower down just so it grabs it and it'll stick right underneath it. And I think these two are kind of stuck together. Let's see what we got here. I'm just going to take this leaf and I'm actually going to have it coming out from behind this bunch of leaves here just to add a little more color. And I cut these out in Old Olive, which is what I did these leaves in as well. But I stamped them in Granny Apple Green, if you can believe that. They look very similar. It's just the Granny Apple Green just has a little more brightness to it than the Old Olive. But I love those two colors together. So next I took a piece of soft sea foam and I cut it really thin. It's probably about 1/4 inch. And I used the Old Olive ink. And I took the sentiment Happiest Birthday to You, that also comes in the needle and thread stamp set, and I inked it up. I'm gonna have to stand up to get this on here to make sure. And just stamp it on that piece of paper. And you can use a wider sheet and then cut it down later if you want to too. I just figured this would be less time if I stamped it on that little piece of paper for you all to see. So the next thing I did was take it and just cut the words apart. So you have happiest and birthday and to you separate. And then I used some of the mini dimensionals on the back of those. Just flip them over and put a couple of dimensionals on each of them. I actually put 2 on each, 1 on each end. I thought about just putting 1 on the 2U right in the middle, but I don't know, I just felt like they all needed 2, 1 on each end. So have any of you used the needle and thread stamp set yet? And if not, are you intrigued about it now that I'm showing you this fun card? I think this is just a fabulous card because it just, if you have anyone in your life who likes to sew or is crafty at all, likes to embroider, any of those things, I think these spool cards are fantastic for them. And I like it because it's just a little bit different than your regular shaped card. Okay, so we want happiest first. And so just take happiest, and you can layer it any way you want. I just move, whoop, I just drop it. Just move the threads around a little bit if you want to. You can, as long as they're not super duper tight, you should be able to move them. But I kind of liked it off to the bottom right like this, where it says happiest birthday to you. Just get it all stuck on there. And then use that old olive linen thread again and just double it. And then we're gonna make a little bow, which we know how it works when I make bows on screen. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Look, it worked, yay. And then just pull it so it's a little bit smaller. You don't want it quite, unless you want a larger bow, then leave it. But I want a smaller one. And then we'll just we'll trim it. We'll trim this little piece off here. And we'll use the glue dot to stick it down, because that is, for me, I find that the best way to stick down something like this. And sometimes not just pulling it right up, but using your paper piercing tool or your take your pick tool to stick it down is the perfect way to go. And now, aren't these buttons cute? These are the needlepoint Nook buttons. I think that's what they're called. Of course, my lid is, where's my lid? Oh, my lid is over here because I had set something else inside it. Yes, they are the needlepoint Nook mini buttons. And I wanted to use one of these ones that are in the blush color. And look, there's some sticky still left on that. So what I did was I just took my glue dot and I actually just stuck it right to my glue dot here, and then used my paper piercing tool to get it off and just stuck it right on the front of that little bow. I thought that looked really cute. And then just to add a little more glimmer, I used some of the glitter enamel dots and put in the center of the flowers. Now, this is not, necessary if this is not what you want to put on there for your embellishments. You can use whatever embellishments that you want, rhinestones or pearls or anything. But this is just the way I decided to embellish this one. This is kind of what Jackie Aitken had done with her. She had put the bow, but she had put the bow over up by her flowers closer, or actually on top of the flower, I believe. And that was gorgeous too, but I just decided I wanted mine a little bit different. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. This was a very fun card to make. I did, for the center, if I can find my piece that I already pre-cut. I apologize, I can't find my centerpiece that I already pre-cut. I was going to show you. I did a pre-cut centerpiece with the Whisper White, and I just cut it exactly like I did this DSP here. And I trimmed it and all that to put on the inside. And then I did just this little stitching, which is one of the stamps that come in the needle and thread stamp set in there. So I hope you enjoyed today. Make sure you give me some hearts and some likes, and share it with your friends if you want them to see how to make this. I will try to share a link to Jackie Aitken's because hers has photos of everything and a list of all of the things that she used for all 4 of hers. So you'll be able to see hers, you can compare it to mine, see which one you like better. Hopefully it's mine, but I stole her idea, so to speak, cased it, so hers are actually very, very gorgeous. I'm not trying to make light of hers by any means, because obviously I love them enough to copy her. So anyway, I'll try to put a link. If not, just go to the Facebook page for Stampin' Up! And it should be one of the posts that are on there. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and you all have a great rest of your evening. Bye.